Hello and welcome to Master Your Craft, the show where we talk to some of the shining lights of talent, knowledge and creativity this country has to offer, all whilst taking in some of the world's best independent craft beers. I am your host, Kane Coffey, and with me today we have the rapper, football dictionary and general nice guy, Fynchy. So let's get right into the show. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, Fynch, what is your first alcoholic beverage of choice?
Okay, right. Straight up, now I saw this in the shop. This is Star Pramin, and I was like, "Oh, is that the thing that I had?" On another podcast, I was interviewed on another podcast called Scooter Tunes. They're the guys. Don't worry, there's no competition. It's all love here. All right, it's all love here. And yeah, I had this. We were chatting above a pub.
Lovely.
And this was on tap, and I was like, "This is lovely."
Where's it from?
It's very confident. It's the number one Prague beer in the world.
Oh, okay.
So like, it doesn't call itself the number one beer in the world.
Yeah.
It just says number one Prague beer.
Yeah. So we have to be wary.
And also, like, Prague is one place in the world.
Yeah. Exactly. So, it's one town.
Yeah, like, number one Prague beer in the world. It's like,
it's not the Czech Republic. It's just Prague.
The more I read it, the more I'm like, look, we're the best in our home city, and that's all that matters. If you go to any other Czech city, Olomouc, Pilsen, they have better beers there.
It's
but
like
in
saying,
Prague,
it's like saying you're the best football club in Cork City.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what have I got? I've got Brewdog Elvis Juice, which is grapefruit infused IPA. United we stand for better beer. That's fiercely defiant and independent. I actually don't know where it's from, to be honest.
Brewdog is Scottish.
Oh, fair enough. I'll give it a crack. When did you have your first beer?
Oh, my first beer.
Or your first drink anyway.
Like,
Feels
yeah, like
do count.
like having like a bit of, how was that? That was a great look.
That's vile. No, it's nice. It's unlike anything I've ever tasted before. We'll put
We're
it
just
that way.
saying something. We're just saying something.
It's just like saying you're the number one beer in Prague.
Yeah, like, see, that's the thing. Like, this is just the standard. Like, I presume it's just the Pilsner, whatever it is, lager. Yeah, it doesn't really say. Like, to be honest, the only thing it says is Prague all over. It's Prague Central. To go back to your question, like I had like the odd little drink, as a child, because what better way to be part of an Irish family than to sneak a kid some drink, drink boomers like Sidona.
Absolutely.
But like when we were like properly drinking, it was like 15. Yeah, we were nerds up until we were 15.
Okay.
We were nerds. Like, all we did was play football on the field.
Oh, happy days. And what's your drink of choice?
Like, I can't ruin the surprise. Like, when I'm out and about, as I always say, Tuborg, like, places that have Tuborg on tap they should be protected at all costs as far as I'm concerned. So probably Tuborg, like any lager. Like, I didn't start drinking lager until I was 21.
Okay, that's late enough.
Because I like purely down to like being unemployed and like being like, I need the cheapest gargle, and I was like I remember I never, like, I only drank cider when you're a teenager and you drink cider and then you're supposed to evolve. I never evolved.
You missed the transition.
I missed the transition period big time, because I don't think I ever had like the bad experience that people always have. When they're like, "Oh yeah, I can never drink Devil's Bit cider ever again."
Yeah,
and I was like,
it never broke.
I could drink it all day. Yeah, like, it never broke me properly. Or maybe I'm just hard. Like, maybe I'm just a hardy individual.
Possible.
But yeah, like you know, I like to think of myself as a buff thing. But like I never had that, so I never had the kind of imposition to go and do it. But then I was unemployed for ages, and I was like, I need to drink something that is cheap, and I went with the cheap lagers, and I've stayed there ever since.
The dream. I'm not sure if you've seen the 1998 movie Afterlife from Japan. I'm going to presume you haven't.
I don't think I have.
The general kind of plot of the movie is that 4 college students, they die and they're sent to the gates of heaven, and they have to choose one memory to stick with them for eternity. They can only take one memory with them into the afterlife. Finchy, what is your number 1 drinking memory?
Oh, that's a great question. I like this. Drinking memory. Oh, here. There's a great, I think, non-broadcastable memory that I have, which can remain unsaid. Which I don't think St. Peter would actually
allow.
He wouldn't let me in with it, so I have to think of something else. Drinking memory. Ooh, probably one of the days at EP where it's just like because that's a day of gargling. It's not just like a one fleeting
memory,
fleeting moment. Like it's a whole day of sessioning, and it's just extrapolated out, and then you have your lulls, which you're going to have.
It's okay. It's okay.
You got to relax.
You got to accept it.
I think it was probably the day that I saw LCD Sound System at EP, or the day I saw The Streets at EP. Either one, because I didn't get to catch The Streets when they played in the Olympia. So I'm gonna go The Streets from last year. I think it was a Saturday. That was a great day. That was all the boys were in tears that day, just up the front, just in tears. Just if anybody was there and saw a group of about 6-7 lads just bawling their eyes out, that was us.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's good for the first section. There'll be 3 sections then. The next bit is going to be about music. We'll kind of swap and change whatever order. Depends,
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Have you got the next beer ready?
I'll have it ready now in a second. I'm going to move the Star Pramin over there. And we'll go with. So this one's about music, is it?
Yeah, about music.
All right, Grant. This one actually makes sense to go with music because I actually mentioned it in a song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, right, you tell me when we've to go. Have we to go now? Have I to display my gargle?
3, 2, 1. Okay, Finchy, what's your next drink of choice?
Next up, we got a bottle of Lomza Export.
Lovely. Tell me a little bit about that.
I think it's from Poland. Now. See, it's not as apparent as the Star Pramin when they were just like, it's Prague and it's number 1 in Prague.
It's number 1.
It is. It's Polish. It was Fabricado in Warsaw.
Okay.
And I chose this because I remember this is one of the first strange, I'd never heard of it before, and I had a go off it. I had a lush out of one of these big bottles when I was 16, okay. And I was like, this is just. No, I was like, this is disgusting. I'm never going to drink it again. And I don't know why. It's 5.7, and the Star Pramin's only 5. So people apparently still care about the percentages of alcohol in their thing. So is that good? I don't know. It's a lager beer. Beer.
Fantastic.
And I mentioned this in a song of Mix Vape as well. And I can't remember what song, but I can remember the line of just saying bottle of Lomza. So yeah, it's close to my heart, so I'm gonna have a whack off it.
Oh, ideal. You said you first drank it when you were 15 or 16. What music were you listening to at that age?
That's nice. That tastes like water.
I'm sticking to my Elvis juice.
Your Elvis juice. Out straight. That is water. That is water, everybody. That's scary. That is, oh my
Does it bring you
days.
back?
It's like it tastes so much nicer now. Oh my god! let me pause this interview real quick. I really lushed it. In terms of the music, I was listening to when I first sipped on a Lomza. So I would have been 15. So I would have just started listening to like Kendrick. I like that was it was 2011 2012 when I first started listening to Kendrick. Like I caught Kendrick just before he released Good Kid Mad City, and then just being like, what the fuck is this? And then that released and I was like, oh my god. I was listening to a lot of Nas, a lot of the Jam and like old like bands like that, like The Clash, Oasis. I was very much like, I like alternative bands and hip hop. And then I did, for a good year, I just didn't waver from those two lanes. I was like, no. Anything electronic, I was like, is there no guitar in it? Get away. Like, it was one of those. But that's it, yeah, I was listening to a lot of it. I think maybe the only kind of artist that I would have kind of gravitated towards that weren't in either of those lanes was the Streets. Like I just like, but that was just apparent for years beforehand. Like
Yeah. So did you?
So yeah.
Were you only ever writing music for hip hop, or did you ever try writing it for like alternative, a band or anything like that?
I think I always wrote anyway. So it didn't have a particular kind of
Purpose.
Yeah, it would have been writing for writing's sake. And then as I started to say to everybody that I'd be good at rapping, they were like, oh, prove it then. And then I'd be writing raps and be like, these are bad. But yeah, I think they would have had a musical aspect in certain cases. I think more often it was just kind of it was writing for writing's sake, but then you have a lot of the time that it was raps, and then the odd time I was trying to write a chorus, I'm like, I can't write choruses, I'm just going to write raps.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on that now, so I can't write a fucking chorus. Like,
happy days. And how long were you kind of recording music before you released Home in 2018?
Home, so I was a year and 2 months.
Okay.
A year and 2 months. So I started.
That's very exact.
3 months. Yeah, because it was the end of July 2017 where I first released the song.
Okay.
And Home was September?
October of 2018.
October 2018. So yeah, like 2 to 3 months over the year. Yeah, that was how long. So in that time, released a mixtape, played Electric Picnic. It was a good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Good time. I remember when I could leave the house.
And what kind of made you kind of take that step from recording it in your room or recording it wherever to kind of releasing it out into the world? It must have been tough.
Oh, it was. It took me all of however many 6 hours.
Okay.
It was the first song I properly recorded, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's get it out there." Like, because I've been chatting shit for so long, saying, "Oh, bro, I'm gonna release this mixtape, and it's gonna change the game. It's gonna flip the world on its head." And people were like, "You're lying. Like, where's the proof? Is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And there is no pudding there. You're not providing us with any pudding." And so I was like, yeah. You just watch.
Yeah.
And months went by and still nothing happened. Like I think me and my mates were on a Zoom call last Sunday, and I went to the toilet, came back, and one of the lads was like sharing his screen, going through my Instagram, and he gets down to a post from like the start of 2016, maybe 2017, talking about like, oh, this is. Because I remember, because I said I was going to release it on his birthday. Like 2016, I said 2016 and then said that's not going to happen. Then I said 2017 and I still had released no music, and they were like, you're lying, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
And then I just went one night, was just searching through beats.
Okay.
Heard a beat, I was like, it was just like a type beat off YouTube. I was like, oh, I like that beat. whacked it into Audacity, and then, you know, history was made. History was made, as far as I'm concerned.
And then in October of last year, you released Bookies, Pens and Loose Ends. Critically acclaimed, to say the least.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
How did you what was it like releasing that into the world compared to some of your earlier work?
It was definitely different, because with everything else, I think when you mentioned home was a kind of
Turning point.
It was a switch up, because mixtape for all that it was, and all the aspects of you know, themes that I had in it. There wasn't actually any exact like theme to it. It was just kind of all over the camp. It was a mixtape, so I didn't really feel the need to do it. Then Home came, and Home was very pointed, and it was very exact. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. And so with Bookies Pens, as I was writing it, like I wrote it at the start of last year, and then by the end, the weird thing is that by the time I was releasing it, I was like, this was me 6 months ago. This is not me now.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a strange way to roll something out, like roll a project out and be like, oh, this is me. It might be 6 months behind, but it's still me. It's still me. But it was I definitely writing it and then like releasing it. I was like, oh, I think I've done something well here. I think I've done something all right.
Yeah.
Number one Dublin EP in the world.
Number one Dublin EP in Dublin.
And if anybody wants smoke, come get me.
Happy days. Okay, we'll end that section there, because that's a nice transition. Sweet. You know. I think that went well. I think we're doing okay.
I think we're doing okay. Oh, I'm gonna get pissed.
Yeah, I'm already fucked.
And that's just a taste of it.
Oh, stop. Okay, we have one last section. What, did you just down it?
No, Jesus, no. It's not even 9 o'clock. I can't down that before 9 o'clock.
You can't down anything before the 9-1 news.
Exactly. It's actually just so true. So true.
Just like you can't eat anything until the Angelus.
Exactly. These are words to live by.
Okay.
Okay, right. I found out where this one's from, I think.
Okay, ideal.
Yeah, well, I guessed it anyway. Right.
Okay. The last section is football. I'm going to kind of lead you in relation to the recent... I don't know if you've probably seen the reports about UEFA stopping all their competition, and then everything being rated on code fuck me.
The Elvis juice is hitting.
Everything just being based on UEFA coefficients, which somehow has Arsenal fourth. God knows how.
Well, it would have been over the last 5 years. So Arsenal made it to Europa League final, like stuff like
Semi-final,
that.
Yeah. Thank God. Didn't do well when we got there, but you know, it's the thought that counts.
They literally I literally deal in coefficients at the lowest. Like, coefficients make no difference to English teams, but they make a massive difference to Irish teams. It's like, well, our coefficient of 6.25 because we drew with this Luxembourgish team 10 years ago. It's like,
okay.
Oh, the fucking stupid.
What a wild time. Jeez.
Oh, it's crazy right now.
Do you think they'll finish the Champions League?
I don't know.
I can't see them dragging countries from different, or teams from different countries together into one place.
Honest to God, I don't think that there's a point.
Yeah. Well,
is there a point in anything?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like, is there a point in finishing the league if it doesn't? I suppose the only thing that really matters at this stage, if UEFA doesn't cancels and scraps everything, would be for relegation.
Yeah, I would see. That's the thing.
Relegation is the stickler. I think everything else would be fine. I just think because of the money involved, I think relegation would be.
I think there's that, but there's also Champions League qualification for whatever. And you like, do you avoid it and then you go, oh well, everybody's back to square one?
Yeah.
Because like United won't have it. City might not. City probably should have it. Like you're not going to win the league. But,
Yeah.
So whatever.
And just after they'd beaten Real Madrid, like, all they needed to do was get to that second leg.
Oh, man.
It was literally the next day. No, it was literally the next week. A week's time, and they would have been
shit
fine.
hits the fan, yeah.
They were just about to play Arsenal as well, and then Arteta got sick, and the whole world shut down. Pretty much from when Arteta got sick, the whole world just kaboomed.
Okay, thank God he got sick, though. Honest to God, like...
Yeah. He saved lives. He saved lives.
But here, like, how straight? They were about to go and play it on.
Yeah.
And then they were like, our manager has it, and he's kind of fucked. And then they were like, oh, maybe it's not a good idea.
And then Hudson-Odoi got announced as he had it like an hour later.
Like the maddest thing was in the NBA.
Yeah, just everyone had it within the space of an hour.
Yeah, like, but Thunder are playing Jazz.
Yeah, stop
in Utah. Stop before they're on the court ready to play. They stop it before. Rudy Gobert is like, they're talking about it, and he's like, it's okay, like, we'll be grand. Starts touching everybody's mics at a press conference. 2 days later, comes out that he has it. A week later, Donovan Mitchell off his team has it. And Donovan Mitchell's like, well, maybe I wouldn't have got it if he wasn't being a prick.
Yeah. And basketball is like the one sport you can't avoid. At least in soccer, you're generally not touching the same thing. Whereas in basketball,
see, it's mad that like you think it's a non-contact sport, but like you're up close and personal with these lads. Like like the sweat is on you. Like their sweat is like fully on you.
And you're literally touching the same ball unless you wore gloves and a full bodysuit. Did you watch The Last Dance?
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
I'm so happy that it's here.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they brought it forward, and then I'm so glad that I didn't have to find dodgy streams for it.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like they only announced Netflix had it like Friday.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, fuck. But that's the thing. What was I doing on Sunday? I was on a Zoom call with the lads, and then I was like, oh, by the way, if you want to watch this, don't go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Even though, because like, all it is just like all of the Ringer journalists tweeting about it, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right, you tell me when we want to get rocking and rolling on this.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. And now to our final drink of the day. Finchy, what you got?
I have a bottle of Lek. Big up the Lek Poznan Massive. Unsurprisingly, this is a Polish beverage. It is beer. Like, it doesn't really say much other than beer. Like, I swear to God, like, Staropramen were the only man saying anything other than beer. These lads, like you want to, like, the print is fine on the back of this bottle, but it's a lovely green bottle, 500ml, you can't go wrong. Has Happy a big days. Warning to say do not drink and drive on the back. You need it just in case you're cruising and then you just so happen to catch the bottle, you're like, not today, and just pull over. Also, it's not suitable for pregnant women.
Always handy to know.
I like how, so that is, it's a strike through of a pregnant woman drinking, and then the drink driving is a car with a strike through. So like, it's not suitable for cars or people who drink and maybe have a big belly. So let's find out.
How's it taste?
Okay, let me just say this right now. Having this discovery I've made about Polish beers. They taste like water.
Okay.
Like I mean, like these things, like, I'm gonna give it to the Lomza in terms of the taste.
Okay.
In that, like, it's a slightly cleaner bottle of water. Like, That's Ballygowan, and this is like the shit you get a multi-pack of in Lidl. That's your bottle of Rummy, like with the plastic that's like really thin. That's Ballygowan. But they both do the job. They both do the job. Fair play to Lech.
And it's from Poznan.
I would presume so. It's just in Poland. It is from Poznan. Of course, it's from Poznan.
Speaking of Poznan, you're a massive fan of football. Of course,
I am. I was gonna start doing the Poznan. Can we conduct this interview by me just turning around?
You can do literally whatever you want.
I wouldn't do that to you.
But speaking of football, obviously you work for balls.ie. Pretty much your main role, as far as I can tell, is pretty much being a football dictionary. You pretty much know everything there is to know about football.
Like, I would have never said so, but like, it's all the useless knowledge I've just compiled over the years that, for some strange reason, stands me in good stead for this particular role. Like, if I did anything else, I'd be poxy useless. Like, I'd be useless. Well, yeah, like, I know a bit.
What do you think of the idea of what a lot of football clubs are doing at the moment of showing vintage games? Like Liverpool have done it, Man City have done it. Would you ever tune into any of them?
It's so good. Like, it's just because I did, like, here's the fucking stupid thing about me is that I would have done that anyway. Like, if I could go outside and like do all of my chores, all of my outside bits and bobs, like if I'm still in the gaff, like and you know, I watched was it Lazio? Or was it? I definitely watched Valencia against Leeds in the 2001 Champions League. Like the full game.
Okay.
Just for the sake of it. And I did that. I remember I did that twice in a calendar year without coronavirus.
Why?
I don't even support Leeds. In fact, if you were to ask me like 10 teams that I dislike, Leeds would probably be in that top 10.
Okay. But still, fair play, that's a lot of commitment. I mean,
listen, it was a good match. Like, you get to see a lot of old school heads. But like, I'm a Pats fan, and we have a Patreon because we obviously can't play matches, and we need as much money as we can get. And like, because I knew that they were going to put some good shit in there as well. I knew that they had some things in the vaults. So we had. So was the first match I watched? First match I watched was us winning the FAI Cup in 2014.
Okay.
And that was an experience. That was 3 hours of just like, it's like 5 and a bit years later, and I'm just still like my chest is just convulsing. But I love vintage games, and like basically any kind. Okay. Like, to be honest, I'd rather watch a vintage rugby match than one live. Okay. Like, I'm kind of one of those cats. I like that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's a great idea. I think it replaces it because there's only so much FIFA you can watch as well. Yeah. Like, you know, the problem with watching FIFA is that you have to get entertaining commentators.
Yeah, you need the right guys on it. Like.
Yeah, like a lot. Like, so, like, you know the way the Premier League are doing, like certain players are playing against. Yeah, like, so, like So Phil Billing was playing against Angus Gunn in Bournemouth against Southampton. I was like, in a million years, I'm not watching that. Phil Billing could be the funniest man alive. I don't care. Like, he just doesn't strike me as someone that I would care to know. Yeah. But so if you're replacing that with some vintage, I'm all for it.
You missed a classic game today. It was Reece James playing against Andres Gomez. Obviously Chelsea versus Everton. Everton won 8-0, but it was complete silence. Neither of the lads spoke. One of them was too embarrassed by the amount he was winning. One of them was too embarrassed by the amount he was losing, and it was nothing but painful. So obviously there are pros, there are cons, but so
Andre Gomez, Andre Gomez is that good at FIFA though.
Well, he's been injured for like 18 years.
That's true, but he's too handsome. Like, he can't be that handsome and be that good at FIFA. That's just not fair.
It's not fair. It's cheating.
That's pure. Like, Reece James struck me as someone who should be good at FIFA.
Yeah, he's young.
I don't know why. Yeah, he's a young fella. He's only like 19. Like you grew up with all this. And Andre Gomez, like, he's an old fella. He's like 25. Like, but still.
An old fella being 25.
He's like 2 years older than me. Old.
So obviously, the football season's kind of come to a very sad kind of wallow at the moment. Not a lot is happening. What is the likelihood, in your opinion, of seeing some football in the next couple of months?
I think it's likely. I think just purely because big leagues like Bundesliga are planning over everyone else. They've expressed their plans to go ahead with matches behind closed doors. Like, I don't think it's a good. Believe me, I don't think it's a good idea. But I'm taking it all day long. Like, I'll take it all day long if they can do it. So if they can, because they can afford to, like, a lot of their money doesn't come from gate receipts. Like, you won't see League of Ireland, you won't see leagues like that going back, because those gate receipts are the lifeblood of the clubs. Whereas in England, in Germany, in Spain, it's big TV deals, it's big sponsorship, it's big money coming in. So I think that we could have a chance. But Champions League won't be coming in. You'd have to keep it domestic, and you'd have to keep players in a kind of incubated space almost.
Yeah,
in
there
order
comes
to do
the
it,
Abu Dhabi idea of getting all 20 of 500 members of clubs and kind of background staff and kind of shipping them all to Abu Dhabi is what the Premier League were proposing at one stage. And just hoping for the best.
What is the obsession with Abu Dhabi and football? Like, I just can't. Like,
what do you think of the Newcastle takeover, actually?
Fuck, man. Like, why? This is not the place for any of that kind of discussion. Like, just talking about, well, I'm drinking this Polish gargle. Let me tell you why a genocidal tyranny shouldn't be able to take over a football club in order to legitimize what they do. Like, it's fucking bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Like, Newcastle fans, they can see the light because it's big money, and also it's not Mike Ashley, but like this kind of it's macro and micro when it comes to like the evilness scale, and like Mike Ashley's a bad dude. These lads are hideous. Like, they're hideous people. They're absolutely awful. Like, I don't think the Premier League should accept it. I think they should do everything that they can to facilitate a takeover of Newcastle from people who are a bit more morally forthright. The problem is that when you're dealing with like hundreds of millions and billions of pounds getting change hands, not many people are very, very moral. Like,
exactly.
You know, like that's simply put. You're not going to find many billionaires that are, God's gift. Like, they're bad. They're simply put bad people. That's how they make their money.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, if you're a Newcastle fan, you're going to be happy because it's not Mike Ashley. I think that the powers that be should step in. But, what can we do? What can we do?
When a man has a painting in his house worth more than Newcastle United, there's not much that's going to stop him.
That's silly. That is silly. Here, listen. Coming from someone who doesn't think of themselves as an artist, but can be an artist, I might get on my Wu-Tang shit.
Do it.
Surely I can convince... That man has more money than sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to buy Newcastle, you have more money than sense anyway. But, like...
Absolutely.
I reckon that he could drop a cool 10 milli on a Burner Records mixtape. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And final question. What's kind of the proudest you've been of your own footballing ability?
All right, let me tell you a story.
Okay, here we go.
Right, now, listen, this is
Elvis juice.
Get the Elvis juice in. Right. This is me being proud and having a chip on my shoulder for the guts of about 10 minutes and then being brought cruelly back down to earth.
Yeah.
Cruelly and honestly, but rightfully so. So we were, the day of my EP launch, which was sold out, by the way,
Lovely.
Just to say.
The 12th of October.
So, it was sold out, everybody. It was sold out. It was the 23rd of November, actually, because I couldn't get a date for anywhere for like October. A month and a half afterwards. Okay. So, which made no sense, but like, that's me being like, me sitting on music for 6 months, decide to release it in October, and then only in October go, oh fuck, I need a gig for this. Oh, balls. So that day there's a five-a-side annual media five-a-side tournament for Carl O'Malley, who was a journalist that died playing five-a-side. So each year it's kind of like a fundraiser for their family and stuff, and it just brings together loads of different media companies and PR companies together just for a little kickabout. But one of the teams is the PFAI, the Professional Footballers Association of Ireland. Yeah. So you can see how that goes. They win it every single year for obvious reasons, because they are professional footballers or former professional footballers. And by former, I mean, so on the team that they did like a live draw, and sure enough, we get pulled out with the PFAI. Our first match is against the PFAI. No time to warm up. Straight in with them. So we're like, cool. Best to get them out of the way early doors anyway, you know. I don't want to be festering. I don't want to think like be seeing them dominate teams. So we get there and we're setting up. So on their team they had Owen Heary, who won 1 million League of Irelands. They had Jason Marks, who I think retired from football about a year ago. Stephen Maher, who won the league with Pats in 2013. I think he had to retire due to like a knee injury, but he's only like 32. He could still be playing. They had Mark Quigley, who is the 2012 Player of the Year in Ireland. Ireland under 21 international, one of the most naturally gifted footballers that Ireland produced in the past 20 years. And Jason Byrne, who played for Ireland twice and is the second top goal scorer in League of Ireland history, coming up against me and an assortment of lads who I think the highest level I played at was like Premier in the DDSL for a season, and I couldn't do it because I was shy. Same with my mate, one of the boys in goal. So we were done in first 5 minutes. This is my proudest moment, right? So we're getting beat. Obviously, we're already getting beat like 2-0. Like it's 5 minutes in or whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna try hit them with something just to see if I can do it. So the ball, they take a shot, it ricochets off somebody, goes, hits against the end wall, deflects out to me. I'm waiting for it. And then Mark Quigley comes up behind me. So I'm like,
you gotta do it.
You've just made you made a mistake, bucko. So I hit him with a little McGeady spin. I hit him with the McGeady spin. I hit him with that inside the foot, outside the foot, and I'm off. I'm like, before I can even think about what I'm going to do next, I'm going to pass it to somebody, because I'm like, I've played it and passed it. I've done it. And I rinsed them. I actually rinsed them. I need this validation. I need that validation so that, every time I say it to one of the boys and he's like, he did. I would be the one to say that he didn't, but he did. That's won the league, won everything you could in Irish football. You can have it. A brilliant footballer, I can have it. Yeah, but here's where he gets me.
Take another drink.
To be honest, of my day, which was a sold out show in front of 150 people, that was my highlight of the day. That was my highlight of the day. But so second half, we're getting beat 7-1 at this stage. And one of their lads takes a shot, it's blocked up and it loops up in the air. And I'm rushing out to get it, and I see Mark Quigley in front of me. He's about to take a touch, and I'm like, I'll body him up. I keep my legs open. You know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Now, right, but he doesn't, like, so what happens is the ball is looping up in the air, right, and I'm looking at it coming over my head onto his foot. As he's taking a touch, he pulls his foot back, and with the same motion, pulls it back so it just drops dead, with the same motion, outside of the foot, through my legs, and, like, it was the quickest thing I've ever seen in my life. It just came down, bang, 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 and I'm just stuck there with my jocks around my ankles, like, what just happened? And I literally just started laughing. I was like, what can you do? What can you do? Like, because I got nutmegged about 3 or 4 times in that tournament, but, like, if I'm bodying you up and my body's between you and the ball, I've won. You might have stuck it through my legs, but means nothing. That man just ran around me, and I don't think he scored, but he should have. We should have just let him score. Yeah, and that was my proudest moment in football, because he purposely sought me out to do that,
for you.
to teach me a lesson. Because I tried to do it again in the second half of that match, and actually Stephen McGuinness, who I think won like 3 or 4 leagues with Pats in the late 90s, like, he literally just put me on my arse, like, don't do that again. I was like, all right, okay.
And with that, Finchy, we're going to call it a day. Thank you very much for taking the time. And I hope it finds you well. I hope you keep it safe. And I hope to see you outside when we're allowed to leave the vicinities of our own homes.
Big time. Let's wash your hands, son. Wash your hands. Word is born.